What if recording your goals for 2025 was as easy as pushing a button on your phone every time you did the action? In this case, let's say you're tracking push-ups and you did 10 push-ups, pull out your phone, you hit the button, and your 10 push-ups is logged. And every time you do that, it's logging your push-ups so that at the end of the year, you can say, I did X number of push-ups. This is how this works. See, here we've got a button on this phone and you hit submit and it prompts how many push-ups did you do? Did 10 or 100? We submit it. It goes in. It takes a minute. I've got these free widgets that I set up on my phone that show these numbers. Um, you could pay $5 and it would remove that. I'm sure there's other image widgets that are there. These images are just pulling from Google Forms, from my Google Sheet showing the entry values. And I refresh the widgets and then boom, there it goes. And they do refresh automatically. It just takes a minute for both the Google form to update the image and then the image to update on your phone, right? Okay, so if you joined us yesterday, we talked about how to use Google Sheets to log your goals for 2025. And we created a Google form that when you fill it out, it logs the date and the number of push-ups that you did in that day. And then we have the goal tracker, which shows our target and the dates, and then how many we've done so far, how close we are toward our target goal. And remember that this is a formula that is getting all of the values between the start date and the end date and totaling them or summing them together. We then created this chart that allowed us to view our progress toward our goal. There's also another chart that might be useful that I wanted to show real quick. This is the donut chart. We could also create a scorecard chart that just shows the number, which would look really nice in, I'm gonna copy this, which would look really nice in a dashboard view if we were creating a dashboard of our goals, right? So we'll switch this one back to the donut chart. And, so today we're going to learn how to create a button on your iPhone using iOS shortcuts, excuse me, to store your value and submit your Google form. So one of the things we need to make sure that this form is publicly accessible. So we'll share this form and change the responder to anybody with the link. Otherwise, you have to be logged in to prove that you are who you say you are. So this means that if someone gets your URL, they could submit entries on your form. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to create a pre-filled link. So here's, and we're going to set the date to whatever you want. And something here, and we're going to hit get link. And this will be important later. The link we get has some entry values here. And this tells us what values we need to fill in when we submit this form. So now that we have that, I'm going to close this out. We're here on our form entries. We're going to open the Shortcuts app in, I'm on my Mac. You could do this on your phone as well. So we create a new shortcut. Open on my other screen. We're going to call this log pushups. And let's give it a fun icon. Change the color to green, teal, and weights. So we got our log pushups. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to ask how many push-ups. So this is an input, and we're going to ask for input. We're going to ask for a number, and the question is going to be how many push-ups did you do? And then we are going to create a variable, and this is going to be called current daytime. And we are actually going to clear this, and our input is going to be the current date. And if you remember, in our URL here, our date was the year, the dash, and then a month, and then a dash, and then the day, and then a plus, and then the time. So that was how that entry was set. So when we come in here, we're going to change this to custom. And we can look here, we've got months are capital M's, days are small d's. So we're going to go year, dash, month, dash, day, plus hour, minute. So we'll set that in there. And once you hit enter, it will store that there. So this custom date value will have that value in it. Then we are going to get a URL. And it is going to be get contents of URL. Our URL is going to be the URL that we copied from before that has these entries filled in. And we're going to delete out this timestamp here. And we're going to insert a variable, and we're going to put in current daytime. And then we're going to take out our entry of 10 and insert the variable provided input, which is what this one was called. And there is a way to rename it, but I can't remember what it is. And then we test this. So right now it's 1:43 p.m. When I run this, it's going to ask how many push-ups. I type in 10. It's every time when you run this the first time from any computer, so from your computer, your phone, whatever, it's going to say, do you want to allow this to go through Siri or connect to Google Chrome? And it says, oh, it did not submit it because I left this URL wrong. So this URL, we actually want to be I don't remember if it's view response or response entry. So it's form response. Come back in here and we'll change this to form response. And now we'll try that again. And it says it's been recorded. So if we come back in here, you can see that at 1:45, an entry of 10 was submitted. And our goal sheet incremented by 10, or if we were, whoops, or if we were looking at it on our dashboard, this incremented to 265. And so on my phone, I can add that widget, click that button, and log the entry and submit it. So I've done that. And you can see this right here as we, where's my folder? That one. So here I've added the widget on my phone, and I also added these two other image widgets. I haven't paid for that widget. I just was looking for something that would allow me to put a URL in and get that widget. And you can see here, I click this button. Oh, I defaulted that. So I'll have to show you how to do that to a certain value. And then when you submit it, and it took a little while for this to refresh. Go in and refresh it. And we refreshed it, and then these showed up with the new numbers. And so you hit your thing, a little while later you look at it, and it would have the new number, where you were. We could make this show how many per day for the rest of the year, or whatever you wanted to see, but this would allow us to keep track of it. So that's how you could use uh, shortcuts. Oh, I told you I was gonna, I don't know where to go. Whoops. The other one I was gonna do on this here is it has a default option. And so maybe you want to set a default value in to the entry, and you probably don't need decimals because you're going to do part of a push-up, and you probably don't need negative numbers. If, however, you were tracking distance or something like that, I walked 1.3 miles or something like that, you could use decimals, and it would allow you to do that. So there you go, friends. If you have questions, let me know. Excited to help some people get their goals set up and to be able to track things for 2025.